the devil are you doing this fine day? And a very happy Valentine's Day to you one and all. Look at this. We can do these things on this show. I hope you get to spend some time with your loved ones today and that cards, roses, and chocolates are being exchanged up and down the land. You can have too much of that sort of thing, so let's get rid of that. Now, guess who finally got paid? 231 days of nothing, and all it took was a bit of online naming and shaming, and Finley finally coughed up. Now, the video of me bemoaning their lack of payment is now up on both LinkedIn and YouTube. And since I've been paid, I could probably take it down. I mean, it would be petty to leave it up there for another, 231 days, wouldn't it? So I'm not going to decide. You are. In place of our usual question of the day, the question is a simple yes or no answer. If you think we should remove the video now that Finlay has finally coughed up belatedly, please type yes in the chat. If you think I should leave it up for another 230 days, please type no in the chat. Depending how the vote turns out, the video will come down today or in 230 days' time, which, according to my calendar, is the 1st of October. The vote is in your hands. In addition to all of that, you may have spotted I spent part of last night updating my Stream Deck software. So my one-click communications with you, our beloved audience, will be quicker and hopefully slightly improved. You may be seeing that throughout the show. And while I was doing that, I added a button that will allow me to provide you a link to our merch store as well. If you'd like to take a browse through our electronic aisles and pick up some Breakfast Show goodies, I will add a link to that in just a second. So without further ado, and bearing in mind, Finley's fate is in your hands, I'm going to roll the intro, post the question of the day, get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It is Tuesday, the 14th of February, and welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony. In today's show, Case spearheads the cleanup of Britain's beaches. Alu gets some screen time in a mining application, and a US demolition contractor has pledged allegiance to the Hyundai brand. Plus, we're going to be scraping by down under with the fine folks at K-Tec. But first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to American comedian Jack Benny and to Watergate reporter Carl Bernstein. Happy birthday also to actor Gregory Hines, Animals guitarist Vic Briggs, to the quieter half of Penn and Teller, actress Meg Tilly, and to Shaun of the Dead actor Simon Pegg, to Matchbox 20 singer Rob Thomas, actor Dean Gaffney, and footballers Angel Di Maria and Christian Eriksen, who, as you may recall, survived a cardiac arrest on the pitch. Many happy returns to them, one and all. Now, before we get started, here's a very quick reminder of our question of the day. I will be totting up your answers at the end of the show. Driving my son to the airport this morning, just after 5. Summer feels an awfully long way off, but the days have already started to be just a little bit longer, and a few brave daffodils have started to peek their head through the fallen leaves in the road where I live as well. Summer will soon be upon us, and it will once again be time to head back to Britain's beaches, and at least one of them will be a hell of a lot cleaner, thanks to the fine folks at Case Construction Equipment.
Good morning, my name's Barry Palmer. I'm the Secretary of Canvey Baywatch. We're a group of local volunteers who come here every Tuesday to do what we can to clean up and tidy the beach. We not only do litter picking, we also do a lot of work making the area a lot nicer, and because of what we do, we're now attracting thousands of people every week to the beach to enjoy themselves, whereas before it was never ever used.
Our main aim is to make this a nice, safe place for everybody, visitors from all around the country and that. And we're really happy to be working on the beach care project because we get so much plastic from the sea. With every tide that comes in, we have to clear it. And working together, we can make a big difference.
I have no idea where that beach actually is, but I may have to look it up. It should be nice and clean when I finally get when I finally get to break out the shorts again. Now, I'm going to bring the chat up to speed. Al Grierson is here. Let's have a look. He's here somewhere. Question of the day from Al Grierson. Construction Channel Luxembourg, have they paid? Yes. Yes, they have. And for you to decide now is whether the video bemoaning the fact that they hadn't paid stays up. That's the important thing. And to bring Jim Turner up to date as well. If you haven't been paid, then repost it daily. When you do get paid, then leave the videos alone. It's almost unanimous, I think. We have people up in Edinburgh that have been picking up rubbish left behind by the lazy park visitors in our local park. Friends of St Catherine's. Not entirely sure who that Facebook user is, but thank you very much indeed for doing that. Never understood that idea of littering. Used to, as a kid, used to go fishing with my father, and that was always the last job. Pick up your Coke cans and your Mars bar wrappers, take them with you. Why is that hard? No idea. Some of this, I think. We're off on our travels next. We're headed down under in the company of scraper maker K-Tec in just a few minutes. But first, we're heading to the good old US of A, not for the last time, to find out why one American demolition contractor has put his faith in Hyundai equipment.
Hi, I'm Brian Clark with United Demolition. We are a bridge demolition company located in Charleston, South Carolina, serving the Southeast and along the East Coast. We've been in business for 6 years, specialize in the heavy civil demolition industry. We've been using Hyundai equipment for the last 4 years. Switched over to Hyundai equipment for the price point, the durability, the strength, and then the great service of the branches locally. We got the 235 series because we like the turn radius. It also has the front push blade to help keep the debris off the excavator. Our operators really rely on the Hyundais. We do a lot of shutdowns at night, so a lot of the equipment needs to perform in a certain time frame. We need to execute, get in, get off the road before reopening it to traffic in the morning. So we really rely on the durability and the efficiency and the overall superiority of the product. The hydraulic flow has been a crucial part of using the Hyundai equipment. We rely on the hydraulic attachments to demolish the bridges, the concrete, break it down into manageable sections. So we need and rely on the machines to execute every day. We don't expect a lot of downtime, but when we do need something fixed, the local branches are everywhere we're working. The HiMate telematics has streamlined the maintenance process. It's helped the superintendents in the field know when the next services need to be done, if there's any error codes with the machines, or if the machine's idle and not working. So it's helped reduce our cost for idling machines on sites and then plan ahead when the maintenance needs to be done. The dream for our company is to be one of the top demolition companies in the Southeast, specializing on bridge demolition. We like doing bridge demolition and we'd like to do more of it. Hyundai Equipment has been a part of achieving this goal by offering superior products at a good price point and having the local branches provide reliable service. That has been a great combination in why we've chosen the Hyundai equipment.
I think I'm going to need to practice pronouncing Hyundai as Hyundai before I get to Las Vegas next month. And while I'm in Las Vegas, I'll be calling by to see the next company that's on our show today. And I'll be bringing you that right after this. Just going to throw over to the chat very quickly. Gary Muirhead, have you got a button on your stream deck for yourself? Mark, the payment enforcer. I haven't, but so far today, that is the best idea I've had. I'll work on that. Our Facebook user, anonymous Facebook user, don't know who that is. Hyundai are good machines, but the same can be said about any machine these days. No such thing as a bad machine. I think Dan Cullen may argue with that. Having said that, it's good to see contractors appreciating the tools of the trade. How is everyone today? Says Dan. I am fit and well, despite the fact that I was up at dawn to take my son to the airport. He should be probably landing in Vienna as we speak. And thank you very much indeed for the recommendation. Now, as soon as the show's finished, I'll send him a text message and tell him to go and check out the department store that you've recommended. Now, with a few notable exceptions, they have been absent from UK sites for quite a few years now. But scrapers, the undisputed kings of muck shifting, are resurgent. And while the film I'm about to show you was shot in Australia, not the UK, I think you'll agree it's really good to have them back. Okay, you can tell it's been a very early start because my son and his girlfriend have actually gone to Vienna. It's my daughter who's going to Berlin. She doesn't go until Saturday, so I'll pass on that recommendation then. What I will say is she's a vegetarian, so she eats virtually nothing, so it all may be lost on her. Dan Cullen says it's the 210s Hyundai. They are on a 4-cylinder engine, do not have power to work on a hydraulic pump, and on a 220 undercarriage. They put a 180 undercarriage and a 6-pot engine. They'd be a great machine. I'll be sure to pass that along. I'll be sure to pass that along to the fine folks at Hyundai when I see them. Now, let me see. Yeah, I'll go back to the scrapers. I am looking forward to catching up with Shane and the K-Tec crew while I'm in Las Vegas. Caught up with them last time. Actually met them for the first time last time I was in Conexpo. So it'll be a 3-year anniversary when we get back together again. Now, let's have a spot of this.
Since the finance bill came into effect in April, the construction industry has seen a surge of fuel thefts. The rising cost of living has placed an additional risk of theft by employees and contractors, as well as opportunistic thieves. By using diesel dye and placing warnings of its use, you are sending a clear message that this is your fuel.
And finally, when I think of screening buckets, I think of cramped sites where space is at a premium, where there's no room for a static screening plant. However, there is more to ALU than just tight sites. Yep, that's another company on my Conexpo hit list. If nothing else, I need to bag myself an ALU hat to add to my collection. Just never have enough hats. Speaking of hats, I don't actually know what's in the box, but apparently there is a box of merch on its way from the fine folks at Plantworks, which is expected today. And I've been told, with 1 or 2 notable exceptions, to give it all away. Give it away. You could be benefiting from some Plantworks merch well ahead of the show, so keep watching. Let's have a spot of this.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
I'm just going to answer a very quick question from our friend Dan Cullen, who says, how did you get on with your bill, Mark? Did he pay up? Yeah, he did. He did. And now all I have to decide is whether I take down the video that I posted yesterday. And it seems to be an overwhelming, no, leave it exactly where it is. But let's have a look. This is Algerson. Is that viable to run a crusher bucket if you have such complex quarrying installation anyway? Just add a crusher that outputs into the screener first. Don't know. I'm not even sure where that one was shot. I just wonder if it was more of a mobility thing. I don't know. Maybe if the gravel plant or whatever it was is actually moving about, then maybe it's easier to actually screen on the go. Don't know. If anybody would like to add anything to that, I'd love to hear from you. So let's have I done this one? Not sure.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. If you can't stick around for that, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends and your colleagues. Have a great day and thanks for watching and enjoy Valentine's Day, everyone. But if you do have the time and the inclination, I'll see you on the other side of this for the crack. morning all. How are we? And happy Valentine's Day to you one and all. I was looking at microphones last night. That's how I spend my time, and I'm getting a new one. Probably when I get back from ConExpo, because I don't want to be messing about with it too much before I go. But the new mic, and I'm going to have a nice boom arm, so I look dead professional. So the mic will probably be up here somewhere with a big boom arm, but it's actually got a touch on the top that mutes it, so I can cough without fear of deafening anyone. Let's have a look. I'm going to go back to the start of the chat in just a second, but I want to throw this one up. Jim Turner, my lad is just about to start his apprenticeship, really hoping he gets his chance to get his hands on in their scrapers. My old fella had years on them. Sadly, I've never been on one. I've never been on for anyone that's had any. Oh, that's a shame. But I'm on the lookout for a little box to go behind my old crawler. So it'll be the closest thing to a motor scraper. And as Al Grierson just said, great news. Wishing him luck, Jim. Right, let's go back to the beginning of the chat. I hope you all enjoyed, I know a few of you did. We do have some new buttons. They're not new buttons, they're the same buttons, but I've upgraded them slightly. So Steve Williamson actually has his own button dedicated now. So when he arrives in the chat, I can say things like that. Good morning, Steve Superstar Williamson. And I can also say things like this to Ken Hatcher. Good morning, Ken Sprocket Man Hatcher. You see, this is how I spend my time. I have nothing better to do. Gary Muirhead joined us as well. Morning, Gary. Thank you very much indeed for being here. He's got his own nickname as well. He is Gary, a smooth operator Muirhead. You see, and people seem to like this sort of stuff. Mark Whiting is here as well. Morning, Mark. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good for the chat. Good chat last night on Instagram. And yes, someone has been playing with their buttons. I'd actually, I won't bore you too much, but I'd actually set up an entire page on my Stream Deck purely for Zoom calls. I do so few Zoom calls, aside from the fact that I'm on one this afternoon. I do so few. I've taken all of those off, do all of that manually, and I'm now just going to play around with the buttons that I've got. But I've got, as I say, I've got plenty of new ones, which allows me to throw up things like where you can find our merch. It's the Demolition News merch store, but there is a whole bunch of hats and t-shirts and hoodies with the Break Fast show written across them. Go and take a look if you feel like it. Have you been paid your invoice from Finley? I have indeed. Yes, 231 days and a few hours, and they finally coughed up. And as I say, the question of the day to you all is, should I take the video down that is bemoaning their lack of payment? I know they would like me to. Personally, not feeling overly inclined, but I'm going to be guided by you lot. Nick Drew is in the house as well. Morning, Nick. Now, Nick has his own button as well. Did I use it? Yes, I did. There you are. Good morning, Nick. Diggerman Blog Drew. You see? Things I can do when I've got nothing better to do. Rattling through. There is the question of the day. Should I remove the Finley video from social media? Yes or no? And we'll get to... Now, I'm a little confused. Not that that's the first time. Gary Muirhead said, yes, I should remove it. It shouldn't have come to this, and maybe they'll think twice about holding back payments. I'm fairly sure he has a change of heart in a minute. Steve Williamson says, no, as they will just keep doing it to others. That's certainly my feeling. Jim Turner's here as well. Morning, Jim. Jim is now forever Jim Tunes Turner. Al Grierson was here, as you already know. He has his own button as well. He is the undisputed King of Luxembourg. Morning, Al. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Gary Muirhead, as I say, does have a change of heart, or maybe I just misread the first one. Yes, keep it up on YouTube. Name and shame them. Seems to be the outstanding answer. There's Al Grierson with his unsolicited travel advice in Berlin. I'll pass it on to my daughter when I see her later today. Dan Cullen's here as well. Dan, he has his own button. Good morning, Dan. Groups Cullen. For those of you that know, Dan runs a bunch of employment WhatsApp groups. So he is Groups from here on in. Al Grierson, loving the nicknames, Mark. Completely unrelated to mine, obviously. Yeah, being declared the King of Luxembourg, I'm sure it didn't sway you at all. Jim Turner, Christmas Day. If you haven't been paid, then repost it daily. When you do get paid, then leave the video alone. Seems to be the way we're headed. Al Grierson, who is forever the voice of reason, should be fine to drop it then. Gesture of goodwill towards the massive corporation that managed to figure out how to pay someone in less than half a day. Well, they figured out how to pay someone in less than half a day after 231 days of failing. So, yeah, I think you can understand, Al, why you may well be in the minority. And this, I think, is... Jim Turner and I are very much on the same page on this. The internet is a record of people's actions, so their actions should be left on for anyone that wants to view it in the future. That was certainly my feeling. I often refer to incidents, accidents, and fatalities as learning opportunities. I always encourage people to publicise those so that others don't make the same mistake. My personal belief is we have exactly the same here. I don't think I should be taking it down because others may search the internet and find out, maybe I need to get paid up front for this. Question 8. No, it shouldn't have come to this. Maybe they'll think twice about holding back payment. I totally agree. There is the link to our merch store. I won't dwell on that. Have I got a button on my Stream Deck for myself? Mark, the payment enforcer. No. And I have to be honest, I did try to do one while the last... I think it was the Alu video was playing, and I can't do it without coming out of the system and then going back in again. I'm going to sort that out. So yeah, please keep an eye out for that. Our anonymous Facebook user says, Hyundai are good machines. Same can be said about any machines these days. No such thing as a bad machine. Yeah, I largely agree with that. You do see the occasional donkey, but I certainly agree with the last point. Having said that, it's good to see contractors appreciating the tools of the trade. Totally agree with that. Let's have a look. I'm not even sure how you pronounce that, but I will be passing that on to my daughter for her travels in Berlin. Dan Cullen, yes, they did pay up. I'm going to confirm that. The Alu looks like a great bucket. Yeah, certainly does. Steve Williamson says, we have snow coming this week. According to the weather report down here, I think we might get a bit as well. Obviously, snow in Surrey compared to snow in Scotland, they're not even the same material, obviously. So we will get three flakes and the entire Surrey commuter belt will grind to a standstill. You'll get 3 feet and you'll carry on like nothing's happened. But we are expecting a bit of snow, I think. I don't know if anybody's got an answer to that. Is it viable to run a crusher bucket if you have such a complex quarrying installation anyway? Good question. And I also wonder about the material there. Are they dealing with just a bit of material that is suitable for the screening? Or I don't know. If anybody's got a clue on that, I'd love to hear from you. Let's have this. Mick Norton, the versatility of either direct mount ADT or train scraper configurations is unmatched anywhere else. However, I dread to think of the fuel bills. Yeah, particularly with those the old push scrapers where you're not running just one machine, you're actually running 2 just to lift a bit of dirt out of the ground. However, nothing moves muck quite the way a scraper does. And yes, great news on the apprenticeship. Somebody has actually managed to be attracted, or a young person has managed to be attracted into the industry. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Jim Taylor, the Eastern Europeans are heavily into agricultural tractor drawn scrapers. Yes, I have seen a few of those about the place. Our Facebook user says they paid, but leave them on. Good to shame the slow on non-payers. That's the way I'm headed. No, it'll give others a viewing to what he's like. Yeah. Thanks, Al. He's just waiting for his passport to come back so he can do his touchscreen test and then he can start. He's already had plenty of 360 dumper roller and tractor loader hours in the seat since being a kid, so I reckon he'll be sound enough. Keep us posted. And if he does get his little bit of plastic, send us a photograph of him with his little bit of plastic. Be more than happy to feature him on the show. That's a great butt, Mark. Thank you. Love the insert groups. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have to fill my time somehow, don't I, between shows. Bit much 231 days late. Can't live on promises. No, you can't. As I said yesterday, it wasn't like I was desperate for the cash. But that's not necessarily the case with other people, and they may well be. And my feeling is, if I can forewarn people of the way that you might actually be treated, then maybe somebody that does need the money won't be treated in quite the same way. Let's have a look. Dan Cullen says, Jim Turner, wishing your boy the best of luck. Yeah, well, we all are. We're all rooting for young Master Turner. We've just had a new Hyundai drop off this morning. Given the choice, I'll be stopping on my 4-year-old Hitachi. You could be depriving yourself, Jim. 4 years is a long time. I mean, a Hitachi's a bloody good machine, but a brand spanking new Hyundai. Give it a spin, I say. Now we've got my dream is Cat Truck Drive, says Zahir Awan. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Zahir. As you are a newcomer here, you get our welcome confetti. Not sure where in the world you are watching from, but thank you very much indeed for being here. Go back to the comments. Brian Coogan is in the house. Morning, Brian. Thank you very much indeed for being here. Easy one is probably Mark Anthony 1965 at gmail.com. That's Mark with a K, Anthony with an H, 1965 at gmail.com. Failing that, you're watching on LinkedIn. If you prefer, just drop me a message on LinkedIn. I'll pick it up there. Al Grissom says, like I said, if they paid up, I'd add to the original post. Do you construction content creators have a shared blacklist? I put them on that to make sure nobody else falls into the trap. I have my own, and it currently contains. Let me think. It contains 2 people for 2 companies for non-payment, and it contains a 3rd company for generally being arseholes, just in general. I won't name them, but no, I don't share that around. Nick Drew may still be in the chat. I'm sure he has certain people that he prefers to deal with and certain people that he doesn't. But as it stands at the moment, mine is 3 strong, as I say. 2 late, well, 1 late, very late payer, 1 non-payer, and 1 team of arseholes. So yes. McNaughton, when it snows south of the Watford Gap, it's the end of the world in the north. We just put our coat on. You're so right. You are so right. And it amazes me, when you get further north. I've had the great privilege to spend quite a bit of time up in Finland. Probably not as much time as Nick Drew, but I've been there probably 20, 30 times, I would guess, over the years. And, they get a major dumping of snow. Don't care. You wake up the following morning and the roads are clear. Their cars start because they've been plugged into warmers all night, and they just go about their business. Here, there's a snowflake. Oh, we better crash the car then. Bizarre. He'll be with me at Plantworks if we meet up for the crack. Jim, whatever happens, we will be doing that. We will be doing that. Bearing in mind this Plantworks is going to come off the back of a Bauma and a Conexpo, I am not expecting anything particularly revolutionary to be on display at the show as well. At the show this time, I'm pretty sure I would have seen 99.9% of it by the time the Plantworks rolls around. So that should give me plenty of time to go and hang out with some of the people that hang out here every day and keep this show a-moving. Jim, I look forward to meeting you in person. Let's go and grab a cup of coffee and talk about obscure music. I think that'd be a fantastic way to spend our time. And I'll invite Mr. Drew along for the crack as well, see if he's about. Right, people, I have duties to perform. Let me just throw this one up. I won't manage Plantworks. I'm heading to Dubai. And I know why you're headed to Dubai, Steve. I think you have made the right choice in this instance. That's the start. That is the start of a happy marriage. When you give up Plantworks and go to Dubai, it will stand you in good stead. And yes, looking forward to meeting you all there at Plantworks, says Dan Cullen. Yeah, me too. Does the company's house file reveal anything of interest on indebtedness for Finley? I haven't checked. I'd be very surprised if there was any I would like to think it was oversight buried under more oversight, buried under bureaucracy, buried under some more oversight. It might have just been devilment, don't need to pay him, but you know, one way or another we got it resolved. For UK's best equipment operator this year, we've partnered with the CITB, says Brian Coogan. When and where is Plantworks? It's in June. Al, I'll tell you what, when I get off the air now, it's at Peterborough. It's the East of England Showground in Peterborough, and it is June time. I don't actually have the dates in front of me, but I will drop them over to you. And as Dan Cullen said, Peterborough in Cambridgeshire. Not entirely sure where you would fly into, but if you are flying in, just trying to think where you would fly into. Not entirely sure. But give us a call, Al, if you need any help with that. Right, people, that is a wrap. As I said, I've got a Zoom call at 1 this afternoon, but I've got to get my wife to my daughter, and then I've got to get back again to do the Zoom call. Then I've got to prepare tomorrow's show, and then tomorrow I'll be back here at 10 a.m. for this, and then I'll be back here again at 7 p.m. tomorrow night for our webinar with Mike Keogh of C&D Engineering Consultants on all things car park demolition. So if any of that takes your fancy, please join us. But I'm going to cut this one short because, as I say, I do need to be elsewhere today. But maybe we'll come back tomorrow and do maybe a slightly longer one. Let's see how we're all feeling. But enjoy the rest of your day, people. Do look after yourselves, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. Go and buy your loved ones a bunch of roses or a box of chocolates, or quite possibly both, because I'm sure they deserve it. Dan Cullen says, Stansted Airport is closest. It probably is, actually, yeah, thinking about it. I'm going to be up there the night before the show starts, just so you know, so that we're there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on the opening day of the show. So I'll be driving past I'll be driving past Stansted Airport, Al. So if you want to be there for the first day, let me know, and I'll see if I can find a hole in the back of the car where I can slot you in. But keep me posted. So yeah, people, go enjoy your day. Thank you for being here. Thanks for all your feedback. Thanks for the advice on the Finley video. I don't need to do a count up. The video is staying precisely where it is. Thank you very much indeed for your assistance. Until tomorrow, have a good day. All the best.